everybody again. I thank God for my sugar pie honey bunch. Lady Kissy Pierce, would you help me? Y'all better clap better than that for my wife. Oh, y'all better clap better than that for my wife. Come on here, somebody. I love her so much, and I thank God. I thank God for her. I thank God for my children and just the entire First family. I thank God for them. Would you help me honor God for the First family? Amen. Thank God for you, and thank God for all of you ministry workers. I love you so much. Thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for serving how you serve. I definitely could not do it without you. Thank you so much for your faithfulness. I pastor some faithful ministry workers, and I want you to know that I indeed love you so much. I need your patience. This is one of those series. Is anybody being blessed by this series already? I told the church that I would prepare to have the smaller children out while we're doing this series, and we had a problem. I guess it's a good problem, and that is most of the people that are part of this church want to be in the series. Most of the people that are part of this church, whether single or married, they want to be in the series. And the second thing is that in our world today, I don't care how much we try to protect our children, there are things that they're going to hear about in spite of how you try to keep them naive, protect them, or you don't want them to hear. It amazed me that I was talking to somebody the other day who knows a 9-year-old, and the 9-year-old, listen, for all y'all that think I'm a scream and holler doing this series, it's the wrong series. Hang on till next month. Because he's a 9-year-old, and he went to his auntie and said this. He said, I need to know, do they make condoms that fit me? Wow. Do you hear what I'm saying? I need to know. Why is it that the church can talk about everything else, but when we start dealing with real issues, y'all start cringing? He said, he went and said, I need to know, Baba. This is what he said. He told her, I need to know, do they make condoms to fit me? And the auntie said, why? He said, because I have a girlfriend and I don't want her to get pregnant at 9 years old. So then she says, have y'all had sex before? His answer was, yes. So I'm wondering, can I be real in here? Y'all want to talk real issues? So I thought it was like it was when I was 9, when we dry humped. Okay, I'm the only one in here that dry humped. I couldn't wait for my cousins to come over. Hello. Y'all come on. Tell your neighbor, don't be embarrassed. He's talking about you. He ain't talking about me. I ain't dry humped my cousin. But for the 10 of us that did, but I couldn't wait to go to Grandma's house. Grandma was old. She'd be in the kitchen praying and calling Jesus. And we was in there. We didn't know what we was doing, but we was doing something. And tell your neighbor, it didn't feel that bad either. It didn't feel that bad. But watch this, Deacon Curry. We are in a more wicked and a wiser generation. He said, what do you mean? He didn't even know what it is. He said, I actually put it in. When I was 9 years old, I was still trying to figure out what an erection was. But here it is, because we in a more wicked, God, I got to teach this. Here it is, we in a more wicked and a wiser generation. Y'all know it, 9-year-olds don't look the same as they look when we were 9. You'll find 9-year-olds that shake almost better than Lady Pierce. All right. Come on here. Some of y'all know right now your kids got more hips than what you have. Because that's the time that we're living in. He said, He said, watch this. I want all the children to be still. I want everybody to be still. Thank you so much for not walking. I don't want nobody to be distracted from what I'm saying. At 9 years old, he says, I vaginally, he didn't use that word, but I put it in vaginally. In other words, I inserted my penis. God, I'm glad I go to the real church that deal with real issues. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, parents. You keep thinking that your baby girl is naive if you want to, and she the main one in the booth in the back in the corner. Oh, but not my daughter. Keep saying that. Because that same one. They act like they don't even know what you talk about. That's the same one that's being turned out at school. That's the same one that, y'all ain't saying nothing, that's inviting Negroes in the house where you go, stop saying what your children will not do, but be honest with them about life, because I don't care who you are and how saved you are. Sex is real, and most of us want a lot of it. Tell your neighbor, pray for me, pray for me, pray for me. Yeah. So I figured, listen, if you're a parent here and this get too deep for you, I'm going to leave you at your own discretion. If your child need to leave, we have people in the back. They would take them out. They would take care of them. But I believe most parents in here feel like I feel, and you want reinforcement and teaching your children how to live a holy life. Watch this. I never mentioned what oral sex was to my children, but one day I was in the car. My son was in 4th grade, and he said, Daddy, what does it mean when somebody say so and so and so? I slammed on my brakes. Thank God nobody was behind me. I would have wrecked. That's the truth of what we're living in now. That's the truth of what we live in elementary school. And it's not just boyfriend and girlfriend. It's girlfriend and girlfriend and boyfriend. Y'all, this is the real issues and the time that we are living in. So, therefore, as I said, if you want to take your children out, you can. But this whole month, we're going to be dealing with real stuff. We're going to be dealing with the real stuff in a world that is highly sexually oriented, and in a time that sex sells. If you look at commercials, you'll see it. You'll see it, no doubt. If you want to sell a barbecue rib, put a half-naked woman on TV eating the ribs. They'll come. Y'all know it. I mean, you can be talking about pumping gas. Put a nice hump on the TV and everybody psychologically will run to petrol to get gas. Not realizing that the commercial makers have been trained to appease to the very thing that will get your attention. The truth is, I'm glad I'm in the real church. The truth is, I don't care how saved we are. As I said, I don't care how anointed we are. Our flesh automatically appeases to things that are sexual. Yeah. I believe that one of the greatest issues of our society is not sex. Would you just hit your neighbor, hit him and tell him, ain't nothing wrong with sex. Y'all ain't saying nothing. Hit somebody, tell them, ain't nothing wrong with sex. Oh God, y'all don't want to hear me. I can't get no help in here. Okay, y'all married folk ain't even saying nothing. So I know you ain't satisfied, but there's nothing wrong with sex. I love sex. Lady Pierce, you're my girl. I love sex. I need sex. Come on, y'all. We all grown in here for the most part.
No, it ain't.
There's nothing wrong with sex. But the problem is sex outside of the way that God ordained it. God, there's nothing God made. Watch this. I told you Wednesday that the same God that gives you the power and the ability to keep yourself, here it is, grown folk, is the same God that made your body to get wet when it's time to do something. God, I got to to talk real. He's the same God. Sex was ordained by God. Sex is worship between you and your spouse. But the problem is when we go outside of the ordinance of God, which is between the husband and the wife, and begin to dibble and dabble without commitment. God help me. That the problem come in. Most of us here can testify that you wish you would have waited. You wish you would have waited before you gave your body to somebody that was not committed enough to keep you. Or now that you have children or even take care of their responsibilities. And while our world, including those in the church, somebody say in the church, are wanting sex, having sex, and are needing sex, pastors have been afraid to deal with it while the spirit of lust is taking over. Most of you here testify, Bishop, I don't have no problem. I can stop drinking. I don't have no problem. I can stop all this other stuff. But your issue is your flesh. Y'all talk to me here. Let me know I'm preaching good. And if I ask most of you here, what is the one, even the married folk, what is the one thing if God would say, I'll take the sin away. I'll take it away. It won't be a sin no more. If I ask many of you, what would that be? You would say sex. You married people would say to have multiple partners. Oh, y'all ain't saying that. Because watch this. You think because somebody here, you're so excited about learning how to date because you want to find you a husband. But I'm telling you, you better ask some of these married people that being married does not take away the ability that you have to fight to keep yourself, because in this perverted world that we're living in, most people are turned on by the fact that you have a ring. Y'all don't want to be real here. But more women approach me with a ring and a baby in a stroller than without. Yeah, marriage is not the answer to everything. And I come to tell you, if you marry the wrong one, you still going to be half crazy. You still going to be burning. And your sexual desire still ain't going to be appeased. Some of the married folk thinking right now, preach, Bishop, because I sure ain't satisfied. Let me tell you this. Mother McClinton, pray for me, but I've decided to follow Jesus. I said, I've decided to follow Jesus. What do you mean, preacher? I decided to follow him by being a prophetic teacher and preacher. What does that mean? That don't just mean Wallace seeing a house and a car and some money for you, but a prophetic teacher or preacher is a preacher that preaches a message that fits the time that the average persons are living in. If you need this series, just wave your hand and tell me, I need this. Look around. Oh yeah, and I told you Wednesday, I don't mind losing 2 to save 20. But one thing I don't want is a church full of shouters and dancers. But when we go home, we don't know how to keep ourselves. When we go home, we got him and her coming over. And for some of you, you're so freaky, you got him and her coming over at the same time. Oh yeah, I don't want to be a church that's packed, that we're shouting and dancing, but battling in our flesh.
All right.
Yeah. Therefore, we will discuss in this series everything from dating to how, when, and where, and then how to keep ourselves pure while we're waiting on God to bless us with the person that he has ordained. Oh yeah, for our lives. I want to go back to where we concluded in our 3 points on last Wednesday, but before we do, God, I don't have a lot of time. I got to do this quick. I told you that there were 3 categories of singles. I want to change it to 4. Here's number 1, single and satisfied. Single and satisfied. I'm in my career right now. Bishop, I'm going to school. I don't have time for dating Because by the way, dating and marriage is a distraction. The reason why some of you haven't finished school right now is because of dating. You called it being in love. Lord have mercy. But if it was really love, they will push you to be the best you could be, not to lay up when it's time for class. Oh God. Not to be on the phone till 4 and 5 o'clock in the morning when your brain needs to be fresh to go to school and take that exam. Oh, we got this thing twisted. Single and satisfied. That's the first category. The other category, and this is the new one, single and soiled. Many of you think you're satisfied. You're not satisfied. You're just soiled. You're divorced. You've been hurt. You've been in a relationship with a man or a woman that did you wrong, and now when you hear the word marriage, your stomach hurt. When you hear the word, many of you are the way you are because of how you've been hurt before, and you hide it under I'm happy with Jesus alone. Well, if you are happy with Jesus alone, why you got so many vibrators? If he was more than enough, why you taking all them cold showers? Somebody saying that don't even work. Single, but many of you are single and soul, and we hide it behind, I'm satisfied, I'm fine with being alone, and that's why we are where we are. Then we have, what was the other one? We got single and satisfied, single and soul, single and sinning. Make no mistake about it, hear me, sex out of wedlock, in other words, you're not married, it is sin. And it will hinder, y'all hear me, your spiritual walk with God. I'm not trying to condemn you, I'm trying to help you to do better. And you ought to be to a point of your life where you are tired of giving up your body with no commitment in return. And if you are here, whether male or female, that says I'm enjoying life, but I don't need a commitment, I'm enjoying doing me, being me, having multiple partners, I'm telling you, something is wrong with you mentally. Yeah, something's wrong with you. We're going to deal with that today. Tell your neighbor, we're going to deal with that today. Single and sinning. The Bible tells us that all sex outside of marriage is wrong. All sex outside of marriage is wrong. And then the final one was single and seeking. In other words, I'm single, but I'm seeking somebody that fits me so that I can spend the rest of my life with them. Then we concluded with 3 points. The first point was, hear me, before finding companionship, I must be a seeker after God. I would not want anybody in my life that was not a seeker after God. Hear me. If they don't love God, they could never, y'all hear, do my single daughters hear me in here? If they don't love God, they may give you good, but if they don't love God, there's no way that they can be faithful to you. Oh yeah, some of these same women that tell you, Lady Pearson tell you, it's hard enough being married to somebody that loves God. Let's alone somebody that don't have a relationship with God. Your first thing ought to be, before you ask about their credit, how many children they have, y'all ain't saying nothing, what type of job they have, the first thing you ought to ask single daughters, single brothers, single sons, do you love Jesus? Y'all ain't saying nothing. And now watch this. I'm not just telling you because some of us are crazy. All they do is tell us, yeah, I conviction of sin, evil, and corruption. I want to know, do you really seek God? Baby, if they hang out at the club all Saturday and don't go to church on Sunday, you better run.